Matter of Fact with Soledad O'Brien, Sundays at 10 a.m. on WESH 2. Sponsored locally by your Southern Lexus dealers. Local, live, late breaking. WESH 2 News starts now.
One day after a deadly bus crash in Ocala, 7 people are still in the hospital in critical condition. 53 farm workers were on the bus that turned over when a pickup truck driver slammed into it. 8 of them died. The pickup truck driver has been arrested.
Tonight, WESH 2 has team coverage all over Central Florida. We've reached out to family members of the victims and dug more into the suspects' past driving violations. But first, we begin with WESH 2's Spencer Tracy live in Marion County.
Yeah, Spencer, the truck driver made his first court appearance today.
That's right, and we got new information and insights what led up to and before the crash. And an interesting note was that before the crash, actually the night before, he took 4 different types of drugs. And prosecutors say Howard has been convicted in 20 previous cases. That includes leaving the scene of a crash, as well as careless driving and driving without a license. So his next court appearance will be on June 18th. Of course, we will keep you updated if we get more information. Reporting from the Marion County Jail, Spencer Tracy, WESH 2 News.
Our team coverage continues now with WESH 2's Pamela Combs. She traveled all the way to Gainesville.
Pamela, some farm workers who knew the victims are staying at the Days Inn where you are now.
Yeah, they are. In fact, we spoke with a man who lost his brother in the crash. Of course, he is heartbroken. As for the other workers, many of them are struggling physically. They have cuts, scrapes, bruises. We saw one man with an arm sling around his arm. But not only are they hurting and struggling physically, but also mentally, as many of them didn't really want to talk today. And many workers are still staying at the Days Inn Hotel. They are unsure if and when they'll go back to work, but for now, they'll be here. Reporting in Gainesville, Pamela Combs, WESH 2 News.
Tonight, we're also hearing from the Mexican consulate after yesterday's crash.
WESH 2's Luana Munoz continues our team coverage tonight live in Orlando. Luana.
Yeah, the Mexican consulate says that the Department of Labor is now investigating the company that the farmer contracts with. That company is Olvera Trucking Harvesting Corporation. They are the ones responsible for transporting these migrant workers from where they live to their workplace. Now, there were roughly 43 to 45 people in total on that bus. The consulate has been having a hard time with Olvera Trucking Harvesting Corporation trying to get a total head count as they didn't have everyone's information. Now, the consulate has been trying to go one by one and contacting all of those migrant farm workers to let them know what resources are available to them, as well as their families who are in Mexico. That's the latest information from the consulate here in Orlando. I'm Luana Munoz reporting live for WESH 2 News.
And tonight, we're learning more about the suspect arrested in the deadly crash. Brian Howard has been in trouble with the law for more than 2 decades, convicted at least 20 times since 2003.
Most crimes were related to crashes and other traffic offenses. Our team coverage continues now with WESH 2's Sanait Gabrigadegas live outside of the Marion County Jail. Tonight, you learned Howard lives with his parents in Dunellen.
Yeah, and I spoke with some of his neighbors. Some of them were not familiar with him, and others just didn't want to talk about what happened. According to public, Howard lives just a couple of miles from the job site that the farm workers were heading to. Cannon Farms posted a fundraiser on its Facebook that is organized by the Farm Worker Association of Florida. It's where people can donate to support the victims and their families. And once again, Cannon Farms will reopen back to business tomorrow morning. We're live in Marion County. Sanait Gabrigadegas, WESH 2 News.
All right, Sanait, thank you. And we have more team coverage ahead at 5:30. WESH 2 Investigates looked into the trucking company used to transport the migrant workers. You can read more about the crash and everything that followed online on WESH.com. All right, you might catch a shower or two on your evening commute. It's been raining on and off all day. Look at your screen right now. Chopper 2 captured this shot of some of these dark storm clouds that were over Orlando earlier today.
Wow.
And it might be drab and gray outside, but we are all smiles here in the WESH 2 studios because we want to welcome our newest anchor, Jesse Pagan. Jesse, we're so excited to have you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm excited to be sitting with you at this desk right now, on air right now, saying hello to so many friends and family that I still have in Central Florida, and those of you who are not friends and family yet, but hopefully will be.
Oh, absolutely. We are excited excited to have you here. We know you're a local. How did you deal with the storms last night?
You know, I'll tell you this. I'm still used to it.
Okay.
You know, you kind of just step back into it, like riding a bike. You're like, you're in Central Florida, you know what's happening. But the storm this morning did wake me up a little bit.
Okay, Tony, I bet you no one got any sleep in this area last night. It was loud.
I was here, and my wife was telling me the dog was not a happy camper last night. I'm sure yours weren't as well there, Michelle, but things are improving for us outside. Tornado watch was lifted. Temperatures up north, recovering now back into the lower 80s up towards Ocala where there's sunshine. Still a lot of clouds and even a few sprinkles here in the metro areas right now, but that drier air is building on in here gradually. And as we get deeper into the evening, the push for any stronger storms is going to be down towards the south. We're watching that little corridor there. Up to the north, Marion County, Flagler County, Volusia County, you're good to go. Couple light sprinkles right here in and around downtown. However, over towards Disney, we have a heavier little thunder shower there. Over towards Point Siena, this is building off now towards the east-northeast and moving at about 40 miles an hour. St. Cloud, Lake Hart, Wedgefield, right around 5 to 5:30. All of this will be moving quickly from west to east. With the early round of storms, we saw wind gusts today in that 35 to 45 mile an hour range. Here's the good news then for tonight. Things drying on out, looking comfortable here for this time of the year. Temperatures will fall back into the 70s here as we get you into the 11 o'clock hour. Cranking up the heat now. The next couple days, that story coming up at 5:18. See you then.
Thank you, Tony. The state-backed insurance of last resort is planning for backup coverage ahead of hurricane season. The Board for Citizens Property Insurance approved spending up to $750 million on backup coverage just in case a big storm hits. It'll buy private reinsurance that could provide up to $5.5 billion in coverage. Citizens is Florida's biggest property insurer.
New details after the arrest of 2 people at pro-Palestinian protests in downtown Orlando. Orlando police just released this body camera video showing the arrests on Saturday. Officers say while most people protested peacefully, 2 people were arrested for attacking officers. They say this video here shows one person arrested trying to resist an officer. One person was hurt after a crash involving a charter bus this afternoon. Chopper 2 was over the scene on the exit ramp to Epcot Center Drive. FHP says a Nissan Altima crashed into the back of the bus. 11 people on the bus, but nobody was hurt. The crash remains under investigation tonight.
High interest rates have yet to come down, and that's bad news for students taking out loans for college later this year.
Still ahead, the student loan interest rates that saw the biggest jump in at least a decade. We're looking into the numbers.
And Orlando City ready to take on Inter Miami. Why Miami's star player Lionel Messi likely will not be on the field. Plus,
there's nothing quite like representing your country.
Tennis players ready to serve for Team USA. We hear from some of the top athletes hoping for a shot at the Olympics. Okay, Inter Miami plays Orlando City tonight at Inter & Co Stadium, but it is likely Lionel Messi will not play tonight after his knee injury over the weekend. Tonight, we have team coverage on the Messi mania again here in Orlando.
And there's no other word for it. WESH 2's Michelle Meredith talked with fans, but first, sports director Darren Stoltzfus is live from the stadium with whether Messi will actually play.
Yeah, we're hearing from fans voicing their displeasure as well. Somebody just walked by and said, hey, we came from England to see Messi. He's not playing. We saw a family of 4 all wearing Messi uniforms taking a picture outside the stadium. I don't know if they knew or not. But yeah, The Athletic this morning reporting Messi unlikely to play. Probably not even going to travel to Orlando from Fort Lauderdale after he knocked knees up in Montreal this past weekend. Abundance of caution, sure, but abundance of disappointment here if that is certainly the case. Yeah, they're ready, but is Messi going to be there? That is the big question. Inter Miami has not beaten Orlando City in the City Beautiful, so they're trying to keep that stretch going. If Orlando City can somehow find a way to pull out a win, that'll be 2 wins in MLS play in 4 days. That would match all season what they had before last week. So vibes are strong here, but a lot of displeasure here as well. We'll see what happens. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. Live outside Inter & Co Stadium, Darren Stoltzfus. Much more coming up in the 6 o'clock hour in sports. For now, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Darren, thank you. The question does remain. Our team coverage continues now with WESH 2's Michelle Meredith.
Okay, so Michelle, many fans were hoping to see Messi play after he skipped out on last year's game in Orlando, and we all remember that mess.
Well,
And that's true, but I have to tell you, from my vantage point, I am surprised at how many fans here are not exactly crying in their soccer jerseys. Now, as we know, Messi is a superstar, one of the best soccer players in the world. Some Orlando City fans have paid outrageous sums of money to see him 2 years running. And if he doesn't play tonight, some fans will be heartbroken, but others tell us they'll be just fine.
We like to see a good football, soccer. So he's not going to be in the game. He's okay. We see the other guys. Good soccer.
Truthfully, not disappointed because that's his character, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
A lot of people want to call him the GOAT. I call him the joke because he never likes to play against his rivals. He doesn't like the media attention. He doesn't like competition. He just wants the easy win.
Go Orlando City!
Go Orlando City!
Yes!
Bottom line, he will be missed, but the vibe here is that Orlando City is the real superstar. The action starts at 7:30, and this game is sold out. Live in Orange County, Michelle Meredith, WESH 2 News.
That is not a surprise that that game is sold out.
Absolutely. And Tony, is the weather going to cooperate for the folks that are going to that, coming from that?
It is. I think the worst of the weather is now going to be south of there. A couple sprinklers just came on through, but I like the setup for tonight. And, you know, if we check in with Mish a little bit later on, I want to see her Messi jersey on.
Me? Why are you picking on me?
Oh, that Michelle.
Oh, that Michelle. There's too many Michelles in this place. You got to be more specific, Tony.
All right, let me take you back outside. Well, if you got one too, I'd love to see you wear yours. Anyway, back up towards the square for you right now. We are looking pretty good. Temperatures outside in the upper 70s to the lower 80s out there right now. Enhanced satellite. Here's what's going on. All the deeper storms now pushing south of Tampa. We may get a couple quick thunderstorms here across Polk, Osceola, and Brevard. And here, all of a sudden, along the cold front up near Jacksonville, we're starting to get some redevelopment there, so we'll keep tabs on that going forward. For now, though, things are quiet up north. A couple showers here down across the attractions, SeaWorld, over towards Disney. Hunters Creek, the airport, going to pick up on some rain here. SeaWorld, Meadow Woods, and Lake Hart. Then we head farther to the south here. There's that cluster of storms right over the turnpike now. This is racing quickly to the east at about 40 to 45 miles an hour. Could make it into Melbourne right around 6:10. We'll keep you posted on that right through WESH 2 News at 6. And again, a little bit of instability here, so we'll watch that. Still the chance for one or two gusty thunderstorms here with, again, the pocket or two of hail and some damaging winds. We'll keep you posted on that. Models are translating everything south of Central Florida as we get deeper into the evening. Take a look at that 12-hour forecast now. And you can see by daybreak tomorrow morning, 72 degrees in town, still above normal. But look here, up towards Ocala, the Villages, DeLand, Palm Coast, middle and upper 60s. How about that? All right, let's take a look now at Melbourne. Afternoon highs tomorrow in the upper 80s to near the 90-degree mark. Tonight through tomorrow, there's the front dropping off towards the south. It will be drier. There will be storms across South Florida, but tomorrow it's the heat returning. 91, 92 across much of Orange County. Gets you on into Seminole and Volusia County. 80s at the beaches, low 90s in and around the I-4 corridor, and then up towards I-75, upper 80s to the low 90s, Astatula, Claremont, 91, 92 respectively. They're saying Cloud 92, Satellite Beach 87, Palm Bay and Melbourne coming in 91, 92 respectively. Headed to the attractions tomorrow, are you? Maybe Universal Studios. Feeling your need for speed, are you? All right, just know that it's going to be a little hot. Make sure you've got, again, some liquid there. Drink your water, stay hydrated, and don't forget the sunblock. Saturday and Sunday, here comes our next front. More showers and thunderstorms will be organizing as we head into the upcoming weekend. So putting it all together now. Dry Thursday, dry Friday. Storms upticking here, getting a bit up to the 50 to 60% range. We'll have to watch that. And then early next week, drying back out for Tuesday and Wednesday.
First Warning Weather on WESH 2 is sponsored by Florida Blue.
This is Kellyanne. She's your morning meteorologist and Central Florida's certified most accurate.
No matter the forecast, I've got your day covered.
Start your day with meteorologist Kellyanne Class and WESH 2 First Warning Weather.
The hush money trial against former President Donald Trump will pick up tomorrow. That's when lawyers will cross-examine Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen. In his testimony, Cohen said he paid adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 so she would not mess with Trump's chances of becoming president. Trump has pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records. Meantime, some Republican lawmakers showed their support for Trump by traveling to New York and showing up to the courthouse.
Florida Congressman Corey Mills was in that crowd, and while speaking on CNN today, he doubled down on his support for Trump.
Look, when we look at what the president did while he was in office, whether it's his foreign policy or domestic policy, economic growth strategies, whether it was how he handled certain conflicts or individuals, I think that he was one of the absolute best.
And the showdown ahead of the November election is set. Both former President Trump and current President Joe Biden have accepted invites to two debates. The first debate will be on June 27th. A second will be on September 10th.
More news is coming up at 5:30, including the trucking company responsible for bringing workers to a farm in Marion County.
Several farm workers are dead and dozens of others are hurt after their bus crashed yesterday. Up next, WESH 2 Investigates looks at the safety concerns involving similar worker programs.
Local condo owners in Orange County said they feared that they were going to lose their homes being driven out by high fees and assessments. Now, a change in leadership.
WESH 2 News continues.
Now at 5:30, a closer look into the company that was hauling the workers killed and hurt in that Marion County bus crash.
They were on their way to a farm in Denellen when a pickup truck veered across the center line on State Road 40 and crashed into their bus. Right now, WESH 2 News investigative reporter Greg Fox is looking into the company and safety surrounding the migrant worker program.
All right, Greg, thank you. We'll have more team coverage of the Marion County crash coming up at 6. WESH 2 News is live where a vigil for the victims is expected to begin.
We have new developments on the bridge collapse in Baltimore. The head of the National Transportation Safety Board testified before a House committee today. This hearing focused on the federal response to the tragedy. Just yesterday, the agency released its initial findings in a new report. The NTSB says the Dolly cargo ship lost power twice as it left the port of Baltimore. There was not enough time for the ship to drop an anchor to avoid disaster. Meanwhile, in Texas, a bridge has partially collapsed after a barge crashed right into it. This is in Galveston. No word yet on what led to the accident, but investigators say the crash caused an oil spill. No one was hurt. Some condo owners in Orange County started speaking out when their HOA fees and special assessments were scheduled to spike.
Yeah, some of it's driven by new state laws that require condo associations set aside reserved cash for repairs following the Surfside condo collapse in South Florida. WESH 2's Dave McDaniel looks at their fears and what new leadership may be able to do. Top weather experts in the country are at the governor's hurricane conference to talk about storm planning, response, and recovery.
First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris is joining us live from the Palm Beach Convention Center. And Eric, we're about 2 weeks away now from the start of hurricane season.
And you know, while hurricane season is still a couple of weeks away, the National Hurricane Center started issuing their tropical weather outlooks, kind of a discussion of areas that they're watching. You're going to see over the coming season, but thankfully today there is nothing to track, just dusting off the old product to issue. Now, with new residents moving to Central Florida at wild rates, you may not know what to expect for a storm, okay? But for those of us that have been through it, each storm is so different. And when I sat down to talk to Michael Brennan, the director of the National Hurricane Center, he went out of his way to talk about how, because Florida is so populated in a short period of time, we really don't know how quickly things have been changing. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Things can happen that you've never seen in your lifetime. Even if you live in a place for 40 or 50 or 60 years, that's such a small period of time, especially anywhere in Florida has had extreme hurricane impacts going back 100, 200 years, long before there were a lot of humans living in Florida.
I thought that's so interesting, right? Because some people have grown up here, but many, many others are building. And because the layout is changing, the drainage is changing, the seawall setups are changing, Each storm is so different, and a good case in point would be Hurricane Charlie and Hurricane Ian. About 20 years apart, similar intensity, similar paths, but yet such big differences. And I think heading into hurricane season, we really need to remember that each storm is built so differently, so each storm can give different impacts. That's just one of the lessons being learned here at the Governor's Hurricane Conference, which continues through the week. And of course, experts from Central Florida and beyond will be learning and bringing those new information pieces all the way down to their counties. That's the very latest from West Palm Beach. Eric Burris, WESH 2 News.
Very good information and a good reminder. Thank you, Eric. Student loan interest rates saw the biggest jump in at least a decade. Federal undergraduate loans will be over 6.5% for the next school year. This year, it was 5.5%. Graduate students can expect an 8% interest rate. That is up from 7%. High school athletes in Florida may soon get paid through endorsement deals. This week, the Florida High School Athletic Association discussed changing the rules to let student athletes profit from their name, image, and likeness. A vote on the proposal is set for next month.
We are counting down to the start of the Summer Olympics. There are just over 71 days until the opening ceremony in Paris, and one sport many people are excited to watch is tennis. The U.S. has a long history of excellence in this sport, but Serena Williams is the only American woman to medal in singles in the last 20 years. As sports director Darren Stoltzfus explains, the next class of stars headed to Paris is eager to change that. Don't forget, WESH 2 is your home for all Olympic coverage. You can catch all of the action for this year's Summer Olympics in Paris right here. Tony?
Yeah, right now, Jesse, we continue to watch some thunderstorms here pulling out of Polk County into Osceola County over the Turnpike. If these can hold together, they may make it into the city of Melbourne and Indian Harbor Beach. We'll take a look at Futurecast straight ahead.
Closed captioning is sponsored by attorney Dan Newlin.
Welcome back. We are so excited to welcome a new face to the WESH 2 News team today. Jesse Pagan is my new co-anchor here at 5 and 10 p.m. Jesse, we are thrilled to have you. You're new to us, but not new to Central Florida.
No, I'm a local guy. Moved here when I was 8. Went to Deltona High School in Volusia County, UF, for college, and it's good to be back.
You're happy to be back home?
I am.
And we're getting to learn so much about you. We know that you at home got to learn a little bit about Jesse in the last hour with Nancy at 4 o'clock, how he and his family moved to Central Florida from Puerto Rico when Jesse was 8. Now, even though this is home for Jesse, he has built quite a career as a journalist across the U.S.
I found this old video recording, like a home movie, of me doing the news in front of the TV.
He couldn't have known it then, but that video was some serious foreshadowing. Deltona's own Jesse Pagan was bit by the news bug.
I think the hurricanes back in 2004, so Charlie, Jeannie, Francis, all 3 in a row, kind of sparked an interest in like, oh my gosh, we got to watch the news. What's going on? And then it all kind of just snowballed from there.
Fast forward a couple of decades, Jesse is now an award-winning journalist with 2 Murrow Awards, an AP Award, and 2 Emmy nominations.
I like to be of service. That's what it is for me. I like to be part of the community and, personally, selfishly, get to see history happen in front of my eyes, right? Be the nosy kid, be in the middle of it.
But Jesse's on-air career began right here in Florida. While he was still in college, he split his time taking classes at the University of Florida.
Okay.
Go Gators.
And reporting for a local TV station in Gainesville.
It's right now yellow tape.
From there, Jesse would chase his journalism dreams to New York, Fort Myers, Columbus, Ohio, and San Diego, California. And finally, back home again.
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to Central Florida.
Thank you.
Jesse has covered everything from breaking news and investigations to Hurricane Irma and the border crisis. But in California, he discovered his passion for telling the stories of his people.
I created a series called Mi Gente, which means my people, and it was really just an opportunity to focus on just really great Latino-led organizations in the community, really cool Latinos doing cool things in the community, and to highlight that kind of stuff. In a market like that, a lot of the focus is on border issues, immigration issues, and while that's very important, we also had a big contingency of Latinos there. More than 35% of the community was Latino. And so we also wanted to focus on the good stuff.
Jesse says being a local news reporter and anchor carries with it a responsibility beyond telling stories, and that's giving back and making our community a better place to live.
In San Diego, for example, we did a lot with the food bank there. I also did a lot with several different Latino organizations in town. I also worked with the Pride organization in San Diego and hosted the Pride Parade 2 years in a row out there. So a lot of fun stuff like that. That's kind of probably one of my favorite parts of the job, is that we get to be out there and do some good.
And hit the ground running. This weekend, He's going to be co-emceeing with me Second Harvest Food Bank's Ultimate Garden Party, which is obviously a cause close to my heart. And I'm so happy to have you standing up there on stage, and everyone's excited to meet you. We're really excited that you're going to be there.
The excitement is mutual. I'm very excited for it. In San Diego, it's a big issue. Homelessness and hunger is a big issue. And so there, it kind of became a cause that really piqued my interest, and I really got involved with. So I'm really here at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take you along with me. I can't wait to do that.
Let's do it.
All right, Tony, did you say hello?
Oh, yeah, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
We're
You're old buddies now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kidding.
His parents, though, have got to be
I cried at the last hour when your dad said he knew you were going to be on that tower. I was sitting at my desk bawling.
That was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, I was close to it.
Yeah.
I was close to it.
I said, now we got to bring him into our studio.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Parents are always welcome in the WESH 2 studios.
All right, they're yelling about here. Let me guys get this going here for you right now. Outside, we are taking a look at what's going on. Ooh, we got some bugs there. Not thunderstorms, but bottom line is temperatures are in that upper 70s, low and mid 80s range outside right now. The worst of the activity is down to the south. There's Tampa, there's Fort Myers, Stewart. We've got the heaviest of the activity now, pushing more towards the south. Although right along and ahead of the cold front, we've seen a little blow up of thunderstorms just north of I-10. That is staying up to the north, but we'll watch the tail end of things here. For now, the short range looks pretty good, especially from the metro areas onto the north. If there's one area we have to watch, it's not the metro areas. That's falling apart. It's right here, just east of the Turnpike. Got a little cluster of storms here starting to fall apart, but if it can hold together, we'd have to watch Melbourne and Indian Harbor Beach down the road. So we'll keep you posted on that right through WESH 2 News at 6. And because it's still quite humid and a little bit of instability out there, we still want to rule out an isolated stronger thunderstorm with some gusty winds and maybe some pea-sized hail. But overall, temperatures holding steady now, upper 70s and the lower 80s. Morning temperatures aren't going to fall a whole lot because look at these dew points. They're in the upper 60s and low 70s. Winds out of the west-southwest. It's going to take some time for some of that drier air to filter on in. That will happen well after midnight tonight, and mainly in our northwestern communities here in town. We're going to be a little bit soupy, a little bit sticky out there. Look at that 11 o'clock temperature there. Right around 78 degrees out the door in town. Still in the low 70s. That is well above the norm for this time of the year. Although we're getting closer to those values in our northern communities from Ocala to DeLand back up towards Palm Coast. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the 12-hour planner now up that way. Look at these afternoon highs, upper 80s to near the 90-degree mark through the western side of Palm Coast. Eastern side, closer to the ocean there, will be just a tad cooler. Drier conditions, but still quite warm as we get you on into the afternoon on Thursday. Front lifts back to the north on Friday. We jump up into the low in the mid-90s. Look at the numbers here tomorrow. 85 to 90 at the beaches, 90 to 94 back through the interior. And if you're making it an attractions day tomorrow, you should be in pretty good shape. Just know we're talking about a hot afternoon. Readings will be in the low 90s. Now, jumping back to the weekend. Another front will be jumping in across the southeast. That will increase our rain and storm chances Saturday evening on into Sunday. Weekend planner looking hot on Saturday, 95, 96 on Sunday. More clouds, more showers, more storms. Temperatures back to normal in the low 90s. Putting it all together. Thursday and Friday, get out there and enjoy. You don't have to worry about any lightning strikes for that Friday golf. Weekend storms will be around, and then we do dry things out. by Tuesday and Wednesday.
SeaWorld Orlando is giving free admission to veterans because of Memorial Day. Those can register by May 19th for complimentary day tickets for themselves and 3 others. The tickets must be redeemed by July 7th. And a reminder, active duty military personnel and their guests can enjoy 1-day complimentary admission all year long as part of the Waves of Honor program.
Theme parks, of course, are one of the main reasons people from across the globe come to Central Florida. Now, Very Local is taking you behind the scenes of what it takes to create, open, and operate those big attractions. Very Local has a new series called On the Job. It's a local show spotlighting some of the best places around Central Florida. You'll get a look at what it takes to create and operate Legoland Florida, for example, and the Peppa Pig Park. Here's host Brendan O'Connor with a preview of this season.
Hey everybody, I'm Brendan O'Connor. I'm here on the job at Legoland. This season, you're going to see a whole bunch of new stuff. We're going to be milking snakes. We're going to be under the sea with a bunch of fish and sharks. I don't know, it's going to be crazy. Come and watch.
On the Job premieres tomorrow on the free Very Local app. You heard the man. Come and watch. Download Very Local right now for original content and to watch WESH 2 News at any time.
I did hear him say milking snakes.
Well,
I don't know if I'm going to watch. Maybe. WESH 2 News at 6 straight ahead.
Summer Knowles is here with what's coming up next half hour. Summer?
I think it's a hard pass for me on that one too, guys. All right, coming up next at 6, the very latest conditions of the multiple victims still recovering from yesterday's bus crash that killed 8 in Marion County, as we are now hearing from the Mexican consulate. Plus, a look at body cam footage just released from Orlando Police of officers' weekend encounter with pro-Palestinian demonstrators at Lake Eola. That and much more still ahead on WESH News at 6.